Welcome to part two of pricing your service. This presentation is brought to you by Market Today. Reach out to Shane over at Market Today. Just visit www.markittoday.com and, reach out to him. Get yourself a new website, get yourself going and making your business look a lot more professional. And they also provide SEO services and Google ad services. They also have a call center. But if you don't have a professional website, like a lot of us don't as we start out in a business, then it's time to, even if we've been in the business for quite a while, if you don't have a really professional website that you're proud of, it is an asset to your company. If you ever decide to exit your company, that website goes with the company. So you want something that's worth something. You want something that looks professional and speaks volumes about what you do when people search for your services online. So visit markettoday.com, guys. So we just finished up part one, and we're building our business here. We're talking about how price doesn't matter when it comes to building the value in your company. Like the foundation of your company is not built on price. It's built on convenience, the perceived value that you create and you have control over, your fair exchange, being in fair exchange, and quality. So what makes you convenient to do business with? Well, do you accept credit cards? Do you offer financing? Do you answer the phone when people call, or are you just letting your voicemail pick up? These are things that all provide value, and people don't often look at them as valuable. They look at them as like just another task. Like it's no big deal if my answering service picks up, I'll return their call. Well, that's not being convenient to do business with. Oftentimes when people call us, they're also panicked because it's cold or it's hot. They really want to talk to somebody, and you're not being you're not reassuring them of the level of service that you're going to provide if you don't answer the phone when they call. So are you easy to find? Do you have flexible scheduling? Do you have online booking? And some of these things, just step back and reflect and take a look at yourself and your business. And if you don't have all these things right away, it's no big deal, but it's time to start building those, because as you build these, you're building the value that you provide as a service provider to your customers. And that's going to help you justify what you need to charge to earn a profit and to be able to fund your own growth without having investors, without borrowing a bunch of money from the bank. Proximity can sometimes be important depending on where you're located. I know that probably affects my business. We are not, we're in a small town next to a big town, but we've got to drive 10 miles to get to that big town. So if I had a location in the big town, would it affect how much business I'm doing or how convenient I am to do business? Possibly it could. And that's something I'm considering in the future. But what about you? Where are you located? Are you working out of your home? Are you working out of and there's nothing wrong with that. I recommend working out of your home until you feel extremely confident that you can afford it. Not that we don't always have to take a risk, but look, you're going to know when it's time. You're going to feel it deep in your soul that it's time to get it's time to, we're busy all day. We're running calls all day. We're making money. There's X amount of income that we can pretty much guarantee that we're having every month because we've been able to consistently produce it every month. When you get to that point, you'll know it's time. And it is nice to be able to separate your home and your business from your personal life when that happens. But don't do it until you're just absolutely ready. And when are you ready for that? I would say by the time you get, say, 4 employees, if you're busy enough to keep 4 or 5 people busy, then it might be time to, move into a shop. So business hours, like if you want to immediately increase your income in your business and be more convenient to do business with, be open on Saturdays. Like make that a normal working day. This is something that I've not been able to pull the trigger on just because I don't want to work on Saturdays. That's my prerogative, but has it stifled the amount of growth that we possibly could have or the amount of business that we could do? Absolutely. Now we are we absolutely do emergency calls, and a live person answers those phones. And we're going to take care of those people as quickly as possible. So we're still being convenient to do business with. It's just going to cost a little more. The technology that you use if you're having a hard time, like, you want a dispatch software such as House Call Pro or Service Titan, I would highly recommend Service Titan. Go ahead and pay the extra expense, because you're going to find at the end of this presentation that, everything in every single business, and this is actually a slide, so I won't touch too much on this, but every single thing in every single business is paid for by the customer. Now, we'll talk more about pricing. That's what we're all about here. But I want you to start opening your mind to what makes you convenient as a customer, or as a company, because that's part of the reason why you charge what you charge. What's the quality? You guys can read that. I'm sure all you guys provide everything on this slide. So if you're doing all those things, what is that worth? Because as well as I do, there's other companies out there that are not doing these things. And I'm not saying that you're perfect. We're not perfect. I'm sure you're not perfect either. We all make mistakes. We all, have a customer that we can't satisfy for whatever reason, or they had one interaction with one guy or one girl on your team that just was having a bad day, and it just turns them sour against you, and they just don't appreciate your company anymore. This stuff happens. It's natural. The more business you do, the more chances of this happening. It's easier to control when you're smaller and you have a smaller customer list. But these are the things that you provide as an employer, as a company, and that's worth something. And that's what I want to get across to you. If you have integrity, if you're honest, if you've got some good online reviews, if you do believe in 100% satisfaction, like if that customer's not happy and you're going to refund their money if they're not, then that's worth money. It's unfortunate that in order to provide that great service, that it is costly for us as a company. We do have to refund money sometimes. We've had to tear systems out and give the whole money back after we tried numerous times to make the customer happy, but we just couldn't. This stuff happens, unfortunately. And after 12 years of business, you're probably going to have some of those. So where's the value in how you are perceived? This is going to be the forms that you use out in the field, the dispatching software. It's a great thing about dispatching software is when that call is booked, the customer gets notified. Your call has been scheduled from 10 to 12 on Friday the 15th, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's value you just build in there, and you're perceived as more professional when that happens. And you're also perceived as more professional when you close the invoice out and they get a text message and an email with their invoice. And that text message is asking them, how did we do? Please leave us a review. We're looking for feedback. We need to improve our services. We're always striving to be better. And that's perceived to me and to your customers as a more professional company. They care about what our customers, we care about what our customers have to say, because that helps us get better. But your uniforms, the way you present yourself, the way your vehicles look, your logo, is it clean? Are your vans clean? Are you driving a 1982 van that's all rusted out? I've got some older vans and they're not the greatest looking, but every new van we get is getting wrapped and looks extremely professional. And that is all helps communicate the value in what we're doing. So the message that you have out there, the offers that you provide, people like to do business with people who are with businesses who are socially responsible, which means you give back to the community when you have a chance. And if you are doing those things, like if you're going to give somebody a free furnace, somebody in need this fall, well, you need to make sure to post about that and talk about it, shoot a little video, interview the customer and find out, have them tell you how grateful they are, because it's important for your customers to know that you're trying to do the right thing in your community. And if nobody hears about it, then it didn't happen. You know, you gotta talk about it. So all these things are perceived value, and it's worth money to your company. It's worth money and what you can charge. So ask yourself, is there a fair exchange? So are you earning a profit? Are you marketing to get more customers? Because you're doing a disservice if you're not reaching as many customers as you can. If you're providing a great service, you need more customers so you can, you know, I look at it like you're their savior, kind of like you're saving them from the bad apples that are out there in your market. Are you earning a good profit and salary? Are you paying employees well? Benefits given? Are you able to take time off? Are you buying what's needed to grow the company? Meaning, are you funding the growth of your company? You know, that could be better and better tools that you provide. It could be a better vans or work trucks that you provide. It could be your place of business. Like, these are all benefits to working for a good company. Are you innovating and implementing new things all the time? Innovation is, you know, the highest successful businesses in the world are very innovative. They're looking for new ways to deliver their service. They're looking for new services to deliver. How's your customer satisfaction? The warranties that you provide, are you fully insured? You know, you got trustworthy people and you trained people on your team. Are you training yourself all the time? So, you know, if you're doing all those things, then there needs to be a fair exchange. That's my point here, guys. So price is not a pillar in your business, and the amount that you can charge can be different in different markets. So keep that in mind. You know, I'll give you some averages and stuff of what the average hourly rate is by the end of this series. This is a 3-part series. You're on part 2, and you'll find out that roughly what we should be charging bare minimum. So, and it's going to surprise you, and you're probably going to be like, oh, I don't think I can do that, or oh, that's just ripping customers off. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. And your profit and loss statement and your ability to grow and continue to invest in yourself and your own education, because we didn't come out of the field as leaders. We didn't come out of the field as managers. We were service technicians. We were sales guys. We were installers. So these are all skills that you have to collect. You're going to pay for your education one way or another. Either you went to college to learn how to run a business, or you're going to pay for it from outsourced people and organizations, best practices organizations, all those things. You're still going to pay for your education, and it's expensive. It's no less expensive than a very top-notch, high-level college education. So if you didn't go to college to learn how to run a business, you're a technician like I was, you're going to have to pay for that stuff. Now, at the end of the year, I'm going to have a course that I'm going to offer you guys that will cover, you know, it's going to give you an education in business, and I'm excited to release that. So the question boils down to, are you making money? You know, we've talked about why the business exists. It exists to provide the life that you want. That's the whole reason it exists. It's to earn a return for the business owners, and the potential profit is a key for motive for entrepreneurial activity. So the thing, you know, providing the lifestyle that you want. If you want to visit exotic locations, if you want to take a cruise, like me and my wife can't wait for COVID-19 crap to be over, because we're so ready to get another cruise. We love cruising. We've been on 4 or 5 cruises, and we haven't been in a couple years. So we're just dying to just go because they're so much fun. But whatever it is, if you like to hunt, if you like to fish, if you're racing dirt bikes, you know, anything you want, your business can provide you. But it has to be structured in a way that you can actually make money. That's the problem. Your business also, I should say, can provide an extraordinary life and income for your employees too. So if you won't raise your rates, or, you know, increase your standards for yourself, do it for the people who have joined your organization. Do it for them, because I think they're worth it. You know how frustrating it is, how frustrating it can be in the field at times. You know how hard a work it is at times. You know how hot it is on the roof. You know how miserable it is in the crawl space. You know how miserable it is in the attic. You know all these things. They're worth the money, the extra money that you can pay them when you're charging enough money, and you train in sales and all that stuff. So what's the problem? So, if you're getting your profit and loss statement and you're not making money, then here's it's going to be one of these four things. Either your sales aren't high enough, either you're not collecting money when people owe you, if your accounts receivable is steep, and you're just billing everybody and half those people don't pay. If you're not charging enough to cover all of your expenses and earn a profit, or you're spending too much money running the business, meaning your expenses are too high. So here's the components of pricing. You've got your actual cost. It's like what it costs you to actually go do the business, go do the work, to pay the technician, to pay yourself, to put gas in the vehicle. Then you've got your profit margin, your desired profit margin that you would like to have at the end of the day. And, I think it should be at least be double digits, should be what you're shooting for, 10% or more. Ron Smith in HVAC Spells Well says we deserve 25%. So, 10% or more is what you should be shooting for. Then you've got your target market. So what are they able to provide? What are they able to afford, I should say? What's the average median household income for your target market? Who are you targeting? Then you've got your competitor pricing can be a factor. Like if everybody in your whole entire, I'm not saying that you can't be higher than them, but there is still a limit to this, where you'll start getting no's instead of yeses when you give bids. We've all ran into this. We've all had to create a sale and reduce our pricing before. When other companies are struggling in your area, they tend to drive down the cost for everybody else. And it's unfortunate that we can't just all get together and talk and say, look, let's keep our prices where they are. That way there's more for everybody. But anyhow, that's kind of going off on a tangent there. But then we've got your added value. And what that added value is all the stuff we've just talked about. That equals your price. So you add the actual cost, the profit margin that you desire, the target market, which could be just the market that you're in as well. I know that different markets, you might be able to get $600, $700, $800 per hour in particular markets, because that's where everybody is, because that's just the cost of doing business. Where in, smaller markets, it might be a lot less. It might be, I'll tell you here in a little bit what the minimum needs to be, but it's going to probably surprise you. But that's how you're coming up with your price. Basically, if you take all these factors in, and it helps you determine like where can I be at to where it funds the growth of my business. I get to pay myself and my people what I feel like everybody deserves, and still have profit at the end of the day. So there's two types of pricing methods. There's time-based and value-based. So time-based is, we've all heard it, time and material. You've got a chart that you go off of, right? You've got, we charge $75 an hour. And then we've got $0 to $10 is marked up 3.5 times. $10.01 to $50 is marked up 3 times. $50.01 up to $75 or $100 is marked up 2.5 times. Like you've all seen those charts if you've been in the business for any amount of time. So that would be time material. Your labor rate's just $75 an hour. So time-based is tracking your time. People get anxious when you're like, let's say you have to take a phone call from another customer or one of your coworkers, or you've got to call in a part. Well, the customer is sitting there looking at their watch saying, oh my gosh, this is just costing me more and more money. Like you can almost feel rushed. And the fact of the matter is that the better you get at diagnosing things, the faster you get because of your experience and your knowledge, the lesser money you get to make when you're time based, because you're spending less money. Like a really good somebody who's very well trained and has the experience can, change your typical condenser fan motor out in 30 minutes, right? Where an unexperienced guy might take him an hour. Well, the guy who charges for the full hour makes more money, and that's not the way you want to run your business. So tracking your time, you've got to explain your price increase every time with the customer. And there's only 24 hours in a day. So if it's 24 hours in a day, you can only bill out so much time each day, versus value-based, which is the price is the price regardless of time, which is good for the customer and it's good for you. There's no explaining increases. You can just, whatever you need to up, if you need to up your prices 10%, you just do it. There, you don't have to say, man, we went up from $75 an hour to $105 an hour. You don't have to explain that. You can just put it in your pricing because it's one price. Your knowledge and skill gets rewarded instead of punished. Value-based pricing is flat rate pricing. Everything I just covered right there. Also, same pricing on all repairs. So if you got a similar repair in a housing addition and these people talk to each other, well, that same price next door, they get the same price as the person that you just fixed yesterday when you had to replace their hot surface igniter or pull and clean their blower. It's the same price. Everybody's doing it. It's not a new concept. Restaurants do it. You have a menu, you know exactly what the price is going to be. And this helps get the objection out of the way right up front. So you can do this with your customers. You know what it's going to cost you because it's flat rate. You give them the price. They decide if they want to do it or not. That way, at the end of the call, it's not, there's no arguments with how much the job costs because of time or anything like that, because it's all unknown. This makes the unknown known before you do the work. So that's it for part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will get part 3 recorded on the same day. I'm going to release these back to back. So watch these over the weekend. And if you have any questions or concerns, reach out to me, hvacmillionaire@gmail.com. And what we're here for, why we run a business, why we take all this stress and we take all the risk that we take is to go make money. So go make money. Boom.